Welcome to another Monday message. I'm just gonna get right into it. This time of year can be filled with a lot of tension. Some folks might be looking forward to it. Others might be like, I'm not so excited. But this time of year, sometimes our boundaries could be very much tested. It could be a family member who said maybe an off-the-wall comment that made you upset. And we're like, our boundaries are gonna be tested again, giving us feedback on the areas of our lives that need a bit more attention. So remember, this is just all feedback, data that we can use to really better ourselves and our lives. Boundaries are crucial because without them, we can be easily harmed. And growing up sometimes as kids, the boundaries were quite blurred, so we weren't really sure who was in charge, or there might have been some imbalances, whereas maybe one person took a bigger role and the other person might have been invisible. So we might not have a clear perspective or a clear understanding of what it means to set healthy, firm, loving, and appropriate boundaries. Boundaries isn't just for us. They're also for other people. When we hold our boundaries, then it causes the other person to adjust themselves accordingly. It also holds them accountable. And boundaries are also important because we often lack a sense of safety in our relationships, especially if our boundaries are being crossed repeatedly. And it's usually because we don't have strong, positive internal and external boundaries. And so internal boundaries are just the relationships we have with ourselves. That comes first and foremost. And then the external boundaries are the relationships we have with others, those around us. Remember, we are defined by our boundaries. So it's necessary to have fences which protect the essence of who we are. The fences are not synonymous with pushing people away, putting up walls and blocks and barriers. That is not how we make connection. Know that once we set these boundaries and someone crosses them, we don't apologize for exercising our boundaries and being assertive. We don't make excuses, none of that. We stand firm. We may apologize only when we hurt somebody else's feelings unintentionally by crossing their boundaries. So I'm going to share 3 boundaries that you can create right now to bring a bit more peace into your life. The thing about setting boundaries is moving past the hump of discomfort when we set them. We reap the benefits of setting boundaries when they're consistent, clear, and unwavering. The first one is decide on your non-negotiables, whatever it is. Draw a line in the sand. So for instance, if you're someone who normally puts out all the fires, solves all the problems, lean in and let someone else do it. Even when you think there's no one else that can do it. And this can be very, very hard to do, especially when you've done it for so long and it's a role and identity that you've taken on. And what we're challenged here to do is loosen the grip. And when the discomfort of asserting your non-negotiables rise to the surface, because it will, sit with it for as long as you can so that eventually you allow others to use their own internal resource systems so that they can solve that problem. Again, in order for someone else's behavior to change, they must first understand what their behavior is doing to other people. All right, the next one is make sure you're not doing something out of guilt or obligation. This was a thing for me being from a Caribbean family. You know, our loved ones and those around us can often make us feel very guilty when we say no to something, when we hold our ground. And their guilt and judgment is for them to carry alone. It's not yours. Without a simple no and you expressing your needs, that can turn into a fistful of bitterness and resentment. So when you do something out of guilt or obligation, what you're telling yourself and everyone around you is that you don't matter. And so I recommend looking into where that guilt is coming from. Go to the root and then begin bit by bit using your voice to express the things that you need. And lastly, this is a big one. Set limits on what is acceptable to you and what isn't. This is a process that takes time and practice. It requires learning to listen to your inner voice and trusting it in the midst of conflict or confusion. Listen to what your body says and how your body feels. Feel free to explore it deeper for a genuine assessment and then honor what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. So thank you for watching and listening. Let me know in the comments below which boundary you're gonna start setting as soon as you can, or which one that you feel like you struggle with the most. I'd love to hear it. Definitely, subscribe, share, like this video. My name is Francis. If you'd like to go deeper, definitely schedule a soul session. It's free, and let's see how I can support you. I'll see y'all next time.